What's going on, everybody? It's be your boy
DJ Anonymous.
DJ Anonymous with another episode of Sports Biz Music, the podcast, and I have a very, very special guest on the show today. I got my boy Saynave. How you doing, my brother?
Good, man. Hanging in there. How you doing?
Yeah, same here, man. Hanging in there. Summer almost over, so try to gear up for, the third and fourth quarter of the year? So
Yep.
This year been going by real fast for some reason. Like, we already in August, and then next year, we'll be in September. So, we gotta.
Yeah, it's been like the hottest summer I've been in a minute.
Yeah, man, it's hot. It's hot. You in New Orleans right now too, so it's definitely hot. So, before we get into the podcast and to the questions and stuff, introduce yourself to the listeners.
Yes, I'm Saynave, Saynave. Coming out of Philadelphia. New EP, Stay Connected, is out now.
Yes, yeah, I heard the project, and it's very dope. And I checked out some of your other singles, especially the Pray for Ye. That track was different. But before we get into that, so what I guess, like, what made you want to, get into music, like recording, like growing up?
I mean, yeah. Well, first, appreciate you listening. But yeah, getting into music. I played instruments. I played saxophone growing up, so I was in the band. So that got me into producing first. So I produced before I started rapping. Then I would hang around all the rappers when I was in college, and so that got me into writing a little bit. And then for me, I've always liked working on projects. I wasn't really into like selling beats. Like, I mean, I would sell beats, but like the type of music I was making, especially at the time, was a bit more obscure,
right?
Versus like, and I knew how to write to my stuff. For example, like Tyler, the Creator, he makes beats for other people, but it only really sounds right when he raps on it. That's kind of how I felt with my stuff. So, plus, dealing with people gets kind of difficult. So I just started making projects myself. So it just started from being in the band and then wanting to work on projects.
Okay. So you started making beats first. Do you still make your own? You still make your own beats to this day, or do you work with other producers?
No, yeah, I do both. So like on the project, I did the first single on the project, "Speak the Language." I did that beat. I did and then the song Ricky Ricardo on the EP. I did that beat. And then like the Cookout was done by my guy Joffin Hoplin. And then another one by my guy Isaac O'Neill. Like I go back and forth. Like like someone talking to me for the show. You got a young daughter now, so time gets real scarce, right? So,
yes, it does.
So I've always worked with other people, but I really started utilizing my network when I had my daughter 3 years ago. So now I'm a lot more inclined to work with other people.
So no,
yeah, go ahead.
My bad. Continue your continue to answer the question. My bad.
No, I'm just saying, it's just time now forces your hand.
Nah, because I want to know, because I know a lot of artists that, they produce, they engineer, they write, they do everything. So as an artist yourself that's very diverse, that does a lot, is it, I want to say, what's the pros and the cons of being so diverse?
I think a lot of artists back in the day were like that. Like in the 70s and 80s, they could sing, play instrument, and you should be able to know your way around the studio. And I think that the pros is that it's more of I think it should be a requirement. Like a lot of these dudes, they just, and maybe it's more of a hip hop problem, but it's more for a hustle. So they're not musicians per se, and they don't even want to be in a lot of sense. You know what I mean? So like for me at least, you should want to learn how to do some of this stuff, right? You in music, you should want to know how things work and how they play an instrument or drums or whatever, or at least know how to session, how to record a session, right?
Right.
The cons is that a lot of people are way too precious about music, and like they hold their own music too close to the chest.
Mm-hmm.
And like one of the big cons is that because you can do it all does not mean you need to do it all. Mm-hmm. Like you need to know how to do it all because you need to know how things work. But like especially people working full-time jobs, but what I mean, it's like you have to, if someone can do it better than you can, or if someone like I did this one song called Resume. I did a video for and put out in 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I made the beat, but the drums and the 808 were redone. Like, and the sequencing was redone. The engineer took the entire track and said, "Nah, let's get rid of these drums, let's get rid of these 808s. I got an idea." And so the whole idea is kind of like, it's okay to let someone else do something if they're better at it, right? And so that's kind of the I think the issue with people who can do it all is that they think they can do it all at 10 out of 10. It's like, no, you can do it all, but master of jack of all trades, master of none. It's kind of like the risk.
Oh yeah, wow, yeah, I like that. Yeah, because when I was DJing a lot, I used to go to a lot of studio sessions, and it was at that time it was rare for me to see an artist to just do everything. Usually, when I go to a regular studio session, you have the artist, he have his manager, of course. You have his producer, have the engineer of the studio. My first time seeing all of that, as far as like, it was two perspectives, as a DJ, because I tell people all the time, DJing ain't just spinning records and everything. You actually, you have to go to these sessions. You have to go, network and branch out because, let's say, for example, you have a single. I mean, of course you have a single out, but let's say a year or two from now, you hit me up and say you have a single that you want to be pushed out down here in Florida. For me, I like to go to the studio session to listen to that single and listen to other songs that you have and just game plan. So like from my experience, I seen one artist do everything and it was good because he learned so much, like just doing a little bit of everything. But then when you go to an artist, another studio session with an artist that has a whole team, it's like, sometimes, yes, you could do everything, but sometimes it's just good. It's just great. It's a great feeling to have a full team of people that believe in you. So you don't have to really do too much, but just focus on creating your music, in terms of like the message that you have, So yeah, I agree. Like it's
definitely a balance. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely a balance. And I try to at least strike that, do what I can, get help where I need it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So how was it? You say you was born and raised in Jersey. Let's talk about that real quick. Like, how was it growing up in Jersey?
It was chill. It was chill. It was it's a quiet town. It's a quiet suburb in New Jersey. You know what I mean? It was nothing. I had a very simple childhood, you know what I mean?
And then you said you moved from Jersey to Philly. So I know Philadelphia and the state of Jersey is not too far from each other, but was it still kind of like a culture shock moving from a quiet, suburban area in Jersey to going to Philadelphia?
Well, yeah. So I went to Delaware first for school. That
Okay.
was different. Cause people in North Jersey, are kind of like personality wise, accent wise, interests are very aligned with New York City.
Right. I heard that a lot.
Yeah, it's like a New York suburb. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a little bit different. And then what happened was my wife, she moved out of Delaware and came back in like 12 years ago. When she came back, and she moved to Philly first, and so I was kind of commuting back and forth, and then like a year later, that's when I moved. So it wasn't that hard of a transition because I was already, kind of outside of Philadelphia for a little bit, so I got kind of used to the people. But yeah, living in the city is wildly different. I will tell you that. Like, it's as far as interest, how people are. I prefer like the city life. It is definitely different. It's a different mindset, different like people style themselves. Everything.
And real quick, since this is Sports Biz Music Podcast, and you from Philly, pretty much, so. Are you into sports? Do you follow the Eagles, the 76ers? Like, who are your teams that you
It's so
follow?
funny, I'm not big into sports, but I mean, when I do follow, I follow soccer.
Oh, okay.
My brother is into sports, and so now mind you, I rep the home team. So yeah, when Eagles won the Super Bowl, we was out there too. You know what I mean? we were definitely out. I was definitely frauding, like I've been riding the whole way. But yeah, no, I definitely rep Philly. My brother is a big Giants fan, so I would troll him and root for the Jets, I would root for the Jets on purpose just to mess with them. Yeah. But yeah, no, we definitely root for the home team. But when the World Cup comes, it's coming to Philly. I forgot what year it's coming, but when it comes to Philly, I'll definitely be out there.
2026, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. Is the World Cup when it comes here.
So how you feel about that then? Because I know the World Cup is coming. I know it's here, Philly, Seattle. I think Dallas, Kansas City's gonna get it. It's gonna have I think LA too, right?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of happy that they're doing it that way because a lot of times when they have these events in cities, they do all this infrastructure work that really kind of displaces people because they'll put it in an area that didn't have. They'll build a new stadium of sorts for whatever reason. They wouldn't have to do it in Philly, but when they go to these cities, they or when they have like the Olympics, they go to cities, they find the area where people are probably already living. They move people out the way, and then after the thing's done, these stadiums aren't even used anymore. And this to me at least feels like we're going to use facilities and infrastructure that's kind of already set, as well as all the other cities, same situation, and then so we kind of get the benefit of having like tourism and people there. That'll be good for the city, but at the same time, it won't be like the wrecking ball that's going to come through. Right. When you have like a normal like World Cup, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I think it's a bit better that way.
Yeah, because every time whether it's a World Cup, Super Bowl, like living down here in Miami for so long, I've seen it, and it's like it's every time a Super Bowl or a big event comes, there's always some type of upgrades, but at the same time they don't try to move people out. Like they just try to upgrade around the stadiums and stuff. So yeah, I agree. Like, it's good that they having it. I know in Kansas City, they're trying to I guess like upgrade the Kansas City side, the one that's in Kansas, the one that's in the state of Kansas, because I know the one in Missouri is like that's the most popular side. That's what the Chiefs play over there. But they trying to upgrade the whole city, so even including the side where they're in Kansas, because that's more, I guess, the outskirts, the countryside of Kansas City, like the suburban side. So they just trying to grow the whole city. So the World Cup, events like that, like you said, is good because it brings tourism. It brings, the certain cities, it upgrades them, but, at the same time, thank God they not, trying to throw people out and stuff and try to
Right.
just build a whole new stadium. No, they just upgrade around the city little by little.
Yep.
So let's talk about the business side of music. You independent right now, right?
Yeah, but I'm signed to Foward Records, which is an independent label,
Okay.
artist friendly independent label. So, as far as so yeah, I am signed, but we're still independent.
Okay.
As individuals, like no one's like in these 360 contracts or whatever.
Yes, that was crazy. I remember when that first came up. Anyway, we want to talk a little bit about that too, but as an artist, especially, you have these up and coming artists, this era is totally different. How old are you, by the way? Like what you was born in the 90s, 80s?
I'm born in 86.
Okay, so
I'm 36.
So we still in the same, generation. So you remember 15 years ago, 10, 12, 15 years ago, we grew up in the era where it was CDs, cassettes, vinyls, at one point where they coming back with all of that anyway, but we was more physical. We had physical stuff. We had physical, CDs. We had the brochures. You buy this CD,
Yep.
you get free tickets to a concert, or you get merch. You get merch. Pretty much, it's pretty much merch. So, as an artist, in today's age, what type of advice can you give artists to, I guess, like advice for branding themselves? Like,
easy.
Yeah.
Your music is secondary. It doesn't even matter. All you gotta do is just pass a minimum bar of skill. Like and I've gotten decent at Instagram, but really like what it is just people care more about the brand. They care more about what you represent or how you align to their values, or if you give them if they vibe with you like on social media, that matters more than how good you are. I know a lot of people who are really good who are working with people who are famous. I know a couple guys who work with names, right? And none of us. I mean, and they're really really good. You know what I mean? They're really good, and it's like none of that matters anymore. I have a song with I did a couple years ago with somebody who was famous. It doesn't really matter. What matters is do you do you have a machine behind you, or is your brand high? You know what I mean? And it's an unfortunate truth. Because I'm of that age group we were just talking about, I personally take a lot of pride in quality, right? And making things look good and having well done videos and well done music and mix, right? But to be quite honest, it really doesn't matter. People get signed for less. People get signed for nonsense, and all because they caught a wave. I'm gonna pick on Armani White, right? My understanding is that his song, before it was even out, was a studio session he was on TikTok, and it blew up because people heard that line, that Billie Eilish line, and people really dug what he was doing. I mean, the song is hard, but like how he got on, my understanding, it's just so random. Like all this is random. So like my advice is just it's great to be good. That's my focus, but really it doesn't really matter. What matters is how well you brand yourself. Staying visible, not hitting people over the head with your music. Hit them over the head with like content that people actually care about first, and then sneak in your music.
And I'm glad you said that too. But also, do you think, I don't know how I can explain this, because I love music. I love all type of music. Of course, I love hip hop, R&B. That's always been my first love. But I love all different type of genres, all different types of sound. Not to sound like we're old. We're young. We just old. We young. You know what I'm saying? We young OGs. Do you feel that streaming kind of not destroy music, but it kind of it kind of like it kind of got rid of that the element of disguise, like the element of surprise, like in terms of like
Yeah.
you remember back in the day
Yeah.
when a new artist come out, you be like, oh, where this artist came from, you know? But now it's just like everybody's want to be an artist, and sometimes you just feel like some people just do it just for the money. They don't do it because of the passion and the storytelling behind it. Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, all right. So I get your question. So whether people do it for the money, that's kind of always been the case. Like, you know, I don't think that's at least in hip hop. You know, I haven't since the '90s. You know, since probably the Diddy era, people have been looking at rap. Not everyone,
right?
You know, a lot of people are passionate, but like it became a hustle when that glitz and glamour phase started. But the democratization of music allowed more for diversity in music. However, when you allow the floodgates to come in, you also increase the likelihood of poor quality, right? So it's good that like Pharrell said, I think he's since paid back that store owner, but they stole his first MPC, right? Because the barrier of entry was so wildly, you know, was so high back in the day, right? Like for rap was so successful because rap in itself, because people were taking samples, it lowered the barrier of entry for people to do music because it was such an operation before, right? So in today's world, it's a lot easier, and so it is good that people can try to can try to get in music, but at the same time, it's like now it's just so much music, right? Like there's a literal like it's the saturation is just so much. So it's kind of it's a double-edged sword. It's good and bad. I don't think that people's motives are any different. It's just that it's more of those people, right? You know, it's just and so it makes and then it also forces even forces artists to put out more music than they actually need to. You know, like it's like the fact that you guys putting out like joints like 2-3 times a year is wild to me.
Yeah, that's
right?
crazy. Yeah.
You know, and a lot of it is even good. Like that's the problem too. Like especially with like the trap rappers, like a lot of it is just derivative, and you can make it over and over again. Like it's not like they're not doing anything like substantive. So that's the other problem because the technology is there. You can just make beats in 20 seconds, and the same type of joint over and over again. So you know, yeah, so that's a long answer to your question. It's just the motives haven't changed. It's both good and a bad thing. You know, it just kind of is what it is at this point.
Yeah, because I'm not, you know, for me, it's not like everybody got to get their money. Everybody got to have some type of living. People got family. You know, people have goals and stuff. Like, I understand that. But it's just like, you know, for example, you're in New Orleans right now. You know, the big timers, you know, back in them days, that's all they talked about was having cars and women, big ass houses, jewelry. Like that's all they talked about. But at the same time, it's like they wasn't saying it just to say it. They was actually being real with people. They was like, we love doing this. This is what we do with our money. Like,
right.
We want, you know, like Manny Fresh. Every time I listen to his lyrics, he's not the best rap. You know, he's not the best like lyricist and stuff like that. But when he raps, he actually breaks down. Okay, I want to get me I'm just putting this as an example, a 2004 Camaro, but he break it down like he don't want no miles. He want a V8. He want white interior. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he want 20.
And here's the thing. Yeah. I put any whack rapper in that era. I don't even think he's whack. I put anybody who I think he's better than half the dudes out now. Like all those people, they were still trying. Yes. You know, it took so much to put out music back then. Like you had to actually know equipment. You had to actually go to the studio, and it had to be hot, right? You couldn't do it over through 10 takes. Like it had to be hot. Like no, he's fired. You know what I mean? Like all these guys now, like like people look. It's wild because back in the day, he wasn't considered like a rapper's rapper. But I hear those songs now and go, "Oh no, he was good."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like the crunk era. Like, you know, it was a point in time where people was like, "Is this rap?" But then if you listen to, you know, I'm not saying all the artists is whack in this era. I just feel like it's more artists that's mediocre in this era in terms of like you seen it because the ones who had a little run, they're not, you know, even relevant no more. You know what I'm saying? So if like what I was about to say, but no, like it's crazy like how, like, you know, you could go back to the crunk era, and at the time you didn't even think, oh, them boys, they wasn't lyrical, but they was actually kind of, you know, making some sense in their lyrics. Like they was saying some, it was fun and stuff, but they was saying some real stuff. Like David Banner, you know, people think David Banner just all of a sudden just became like a woke person. I said, nah, like if you look at his videos, like a pimp video, it was a dude, he was getting chased by, you know, KKK. He was getting chased. Like, you know, he was talking about how it was in Mississippi, you know, so that's why like, you know, in the past generation, I guess why it's an argument right now with the new and the old generation or whatever you want to call it, but it was just more of a message in that era than it is in this era. Like artists like you have a message and stuff, like by, you know, listening to you, you know, I can tell that you have your own opinions about certain stuff and you all about family. So I can get that from you. But it's a lot of other artists in this era that just talk about stuff. You be like, what? Like, what you talking about?
Things. That's actually another point about the whole brand thing.
Mm-hmm.
My advice: figure out what your brand is and stick to that.
Right.
Don't try to chase, you know, the other dudes. Figure out and make the brand, like a lot of people try to do the brand thing, but like they kind of get the wrong message. Like don't try to become something that you're not. It's just like, yeah, what do you do in real life, and then do that. You know. Right.
Yeah, that's true. So speaking, since we talking about streaming and stuff like that, and I asked this to everybody, whether you a DJ or artist or whatnot, do you think it kind of answered my question, but I want to like just ask this again. Do you think streaming hurt music, like hurt the industry, or you think it kind of I guess gave artists more freedom in terms of they don't have to be signed to a major label? Like,
streaming specifically? No, it helps. A lot of people try to like, yes, Spotify, they whole operation is a little sneaky how they got in with in bed with the labels, you know. So, you know, that to me is super whack, you know, and artists should absolutely getting paid more. Yes. But people forget, like the music industry when Napster came out was on a free fall. Like there was no money for a minute, right? And part of it because the industry was kind of they were fighting change, and so, you know, what's easier than going to the store and then trying to find a CD and then having to put that CD on a Walkman, right? Right. You know, what is that easier, or is downloading the song on this P2P platform called Napster and then putting it on an iPod, right? That's way easier. But what's easier than that? Streaming, right? Streaming, yes. And you can tie actual revenue to that. So that to me, streaming is a net positive, because without it, there was no money in the industry for between like what 05 to like 20. But it was like no money. It was free falling, right? But back to that the other point, the one negative is that, you know, people hate gatekeepers, but when done well, a little bit of gatekeeping ain't bad. You know, like some of y'all shouldn't be on Spotify. Like some of y'all shouldn't be there. If you're not getting your songs mixed, if you're not, I mean, music is, I guess, subjective to a degree. Right. But to some degree, it's like, yo, like this is not mixed. You record it on a home mic. Like it's you know, there maybe there should be some gatekeeping because once there's too much music, then it makes it hard for actual talent, to make it right. So that's kind of like the double-edged sword.
Yeah, because with me as a consumer, and I still got my DJ hat on. One thing I do love about the streaming era, it does like force people to be more quality creative. Like your quality of sound has to be on point. So I've listened to so many songs, like especially when streaming existed, and I understand what people say about Spotify as far as like as creator, because I'd be mad too. But if we talking about like if you just a straight consumer, to me, I feel like Spotify is the most perfect platform in terms of like me, because that's how I believe that's how I found you. Spotify just pop up, independent artists. I'm like, who is this? So I listen to their music and I be in wild. So it's like,
oh, dope.
The difference between Spotify, because I had all of them, Apple, Tidal, Amazon Music, all of them. Like, to me, Spotify, in terms of if you a consumer, a DJ, whoever that just really into music and they want to actually, just discover like new artists, Spotify is the most perfect platform for that. But other than that, like, if I was an artist, I would be mad at Spotify because I remember T-Pain put out the like how much you would get paid per stream. So I'm like, bruh, so even if I get like 50K streams, that's not I'm not getting nothing back.
Oh yeah, not at all. That's the thing. It's great to be discovered by. It's great for indie artists, especially to be discovered. It is trash for the big artists, or anybody who does it full time, where it's like, I got a follow. I'm getting like 1 million per stream. Like what is this,
Right.
So yeah, I totally agree. It's for a straight consumer, it's fantastic. For people who are not known, it's great. I didn't even realize how you found my. I should have asked you before, but that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, like it's a lot of artists like that I have on my podcast. Half of them I've known since when I was DJing and stuff. But then the other half is like just me just listening, discovering new music, new artists. And if I like your music, I just reach out to you. But it's just like at the same time, it's like we talked about earlier, the quality has to be there. Like, cause I've heard artists before. I like their lyrics. I like they, what they trying to say, but the quality is not there yet, And then as a same thing with music. The album cover has to. It's kind of like some type of psychology stuff. Like the album cover has to like just pop. And you be like, what? Let me listen to this artist. I don't really listen to techno like that, but the artwork is so dope. Let me listen to this and see how I like it. So it's just it's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
It's crazy. So, but yeah, I think that's like for me when it comes to streaming, I think that's my only thing about it is that as artists, I need to get paid more. I need to get paid way more than y'all, y'all deserve. And then, two, I just feel like, and I don't want to be that person, but we do need to have more gatekeepers in terms of like, hey, I'm not trying to, shit on you or whatnot, but you can't record music. I mean, you could be a writer, you could produce or whatnot, but you gotta let other they somehow, some way in the near future they have to like kind of slim down because it's like every day it's new artists and it's harder to catch up, and then it's like and everything is politics. We all know this. In every industry is politics. So it's artists out there that's, you know, they trash, but they getting so pushed because they got so many people behind them. That's cool, but it's like you wasting that 1 or 2 artists. Y'all wasting my time, and it could be other 10. It could be another 10 to 15 artists that's actually dope. You know what I'm saying? They need to get that shine. So I think that's my only few issues with streaming. With the streaming era, the pay, the quality, and you know, just the buzz junk that's just getting pushed, you know, to us, that's trying to be forced on us, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree.
So, we talk about that. So now let's talk about your latest project. Hold
yes,
on.
my latest project is called
Stay Connected.
Yep, and it's called Stay Connected. Just basically the idea is just, you know, it started during the pandemic, and I was just like, I wanted to do something that where I wasn't where it was things that just dealt with connections that were real. That you know, I wanted to make an album that was just kind of mature in nature, that kind of just reflected, you know, my life, and people around me. You know, a lot of times people get caught up in trying to chase the wave.
Right.
So I mean, I got some joints on there that are, you know, that are single. Like I have 1 or 2 that serve as singles, but like I have the single, The Cookout. You know,
dope.
I have a song called, appreciate it. You know, song called Fight with the Misses. Like just things that real people kind of go through, but at the same time that like can be that, but at the same time, you know, be catchy, not preachy or whatever. So that's kind of the whole idea. Trying to do things that are relatable and reachable for most people who listen to hip hop.
Yeah, because it's a dope project. Like Cookout is good. I mean, the whole project is good. Will's Power is dope. Fights with the Mistress. I mean, we are all married, so like we could relate to that. What I guess, as far as your music, especially with this project, what is the process of making a project? Especially in this let's talk about this current project. What was the process of making this EP?
Basically, I typically write down ideas, like where I want to go, song ideas. That kind of put on in an Apple Notes. I'll table it for later. I knew the title. I knew where I wanted to go, and I had the album cover all before already set. I knew where I wanted to go.
Cause that's you and your wife, right? That's our wedding. Yeah, that's dope.
I appreciate it. If I had the idea, I just wanted to get 5 songs that were really, that all kind of circled around that idea. And so I put out songs between, you know, that like over the course of the 3 years that didn't end up being on the EP. But long story short, you know, I decided to put out this year, and so we started, you know, kicking into high gear in February with the first single, Speak the Language, and then just basically writing down ideas, knowing where I want to go, and then finding the music behind it. You know,
yeah,
nothing too great.
And I see that you only got you only got 1 feature where it's 2 people, Dude Load and McFly.
Yeah, so those guys are also they're also on the label on Foward. There's actually a third one, Bridget Soraya, on the first track, Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah.
We're actually we're gonna be fixing that credit. It's already been submitted to be fixed, so there's a third.
Okay.
But Dude Lowe's a singer out in France, signed to Fogwood, and so is and McFly is another rapper signed to us.
So as an artist, I know that, you know, they your label mates, but how? Because I don't think I never asked nobody this before, artists before. How does it work as far as like having features on your project and then you being featured on their project? Like, how does it like work as far as like the business part, the creative part? Like, how does all of that work? Like, what's the process of that?
Yeah, I'm basically we're on the same label, so I just gave them all equal royalty split. You know, I just kept the real funky.
Okay.
But yeah,
okay.
well, we're all trying to get them together, just equal split. You know, I'll do a joint for you in the future.
Okay, type stuff. Okay, yeah, because I was wanting to know that, like, you know, how does it work? Like, because what I've noticed when I listen to, I never used to be a big single person. Meaning, like 5 years ago, I should never listen to the singles. I'm like, no, I want to wait till at least the EP or mixtape or album come out. But we are in the era. We in the era where singles, like, they taking over because, you know, of course, with the playlist and everything. And I just always wondered, like, how, like, you know, the same artists be on this, you know, how to, like, just a group of artists always work together. Like, you know, like, for example, Griselda, you know, of course, you got West Side Gun, you got Benny the Butcher, then you got what's my boy name? Lord have mercy. Yeah, Conway. And I've noticed that, you know, they all work together, but then they have another group of artists that they, you know, they own group of people that they work with, and it's like they always intertwine with each other. So I was trying to figure out, like, how artists, like, how y'all do it. So you just answered me. Y'all just pretty much be like, hey, I'm gonna be on my project, but
yeah, and most of the time too, is especially at that level, at that higher level, it's because contractually it's easier. Like a lot of gotta get things cleared. Labels might, especially in the majors have to approve it, and so like that was the issue I had. I had IDK on a song a while ago, and I paid for the verse before he got signed and put it out after he got signed, and then it became a big fight. So that's the main thing. If you sign to the same person, it's just easier.
Yeah, way easier. Yeah, I understand that. So 2 more questions. The first question is who's in your top 5 right now? Hip hop art all time. Like, I want to. Let's do 2. Who's in your top 5 right now, and who's in your top 5 all time?
All time, just like so, like it's not in the order, but it goes like Fonte from Little Brother, Jay-Z, Royce the 5'9". That's 3. Probably. Who am I forgetting? I'll probably go. Maybe Killer Mike is on there right now.
Okay.
And this list always changes. And then probably Elzai from Slum Village was in my, like, as far as just like pure wordplay. And then I'll give like maybe not right now, but like people who I just really enjoy as artists. Tyler the Creator, I think, is fantastic.
Yes, he is.
I like. I mean, I'll put Kendrick on there. 2 Chainz is a current favorite of mine because that girls like trap music. Yeah, Slum Village. So they're always on my top, but that's not now, I guess. Who else am I digging right now? Yeah, that's probably it for right now. What else do I like right now? Like, Lupe put out a pretty dope album that I dig. Pusha T,
of course, Pusha T
is up there, and yeah, that's probably the main people I've been listening to hip hop wise. Oh, then probably that Griselda, when as a group, they're probably number 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like this, you have a very unique top 5 list. You said Fonte from Little Brothers.
Oh yeah, by a mile. Yeah, even though I don't make music like that all the time, like he is instrumental into how I like started like writing and making. I was a big Little Brother fan.
Yeah, me too. Like, cause I think they are from. I know one of them from DC. I know one is from North Carolina, and then I think the other one from North Carolina too. I think they met in college or something like that, right?
Yeah, they all kind of coming out of that.
Yeah,
at a rally.
So pretty much your Little Brother and Slum Village, you know, like fans, and I can hear it in your music a little bit. So what I guess what gravitated you to Slum Village and Little Brother?
I think because I forgot how I got into it, but I went to that big backpacker phase. I was big into the Tyler and Most Def for a minute. And then I think I just happened to stumble. I went into that big I had a big underground phase. I forgot how I found them, but like it was like Little Brother and Slum Village was like the main two groups I was listening to for like a year.
Yeah, man. They to me, they just one of the most underrated groups. You know, you know, especially in the eras, you know, they came about, you know, like I said, you know, Slum Village, they came out like 02, and that was, think about it, I was doing like the Rockefeller era, the State Property era, Murder Inc. era. The Little Brother came out doing like the crunk era, transitioning into, I like to call it the Soulja Boy era, you know, like the ringtone era, you know, so it's like, it's crazy like how two groups that really didn't fit an era was like beloved, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's bigs ups. And the last question is, where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now?
I mean, ideally, a millionaire, right? Nah, well,
of course.
I'm serious about that. I'm serious about that. But, I mean, musically, I'd be very happy if, like, I just had, if I can get, you know, a solid. I mean, we got plans for this year still coming. So, but I hope my goal is to have like at a minimum like a solid like 50,000 fans. You know what I mean? Okay. Like if you get that, then like you know that's kind of gold.
Well, you gained one right here, so
appreciate it.
And you have any shout outs before we officially close off the podcast?
Yeah, just shout out to Fogwood Records, you know, everybody who supports, you know, my wife,
of course,
you know, everybody who always involved. Dave, you know, my man Isaac, everybody, my man No Shadow, everyone who's always involved.
Okay, and you know, like I said, you know, thank you again for coming on the show. You know, finally we got the chance to do the recording, on the show. Hopefully I have you again on the show again in the near future.
No, thanks a lot, man. I'll keep you posted if anything when anything new comes out, man.
No problem.
Happy to be here.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna find out anyway. Like, I'm following you now, so just hit me up, you know. So, but yeah, man. So this been your boy DJ Anonymous with another episode of Sports Biz Music, the podcast with my boy Saynave, and we out. Peace.
All right, man. I'll appreciate it.